The second thing we should do to protect our information is to use passwords. Of course, you're already doing this in a number of things, such as your email, your social media accounts, and so on. Passwords should not be easy to guess. You should use special characters. They should be reasonably long, and they should be unique, meaning you should not use the same password on all places where you log in, because obviously if someone gets one password, it will mean they'll have access to all these different places. They'll be able to log into all these different places. A while back, it used to be recommended that passwords should be changed often, but this is not recommended nowadays. You can change them periodically, but not often, because the obvious reason is that people will start reusing passwords or using the same password in different places if you keep changing it often, because no one is going to keep remembering multiple passwords which are changed every 3 months. Okay, especially if they are going to be not easy to guess, using special characters, long and unique. Now, the issue is that we have too many passwords. For example, you may have one for Facebook, for Gmail, for LinkedIn, for eCitizen, for your website, for PayPal or a similar service, for Jumia, Kilimall, Amazon, for Airbnb, for Coursera, for the university where you're taking your master's or your doctorate, for Netflix. These are already more than 10 passwords. If each password is going to be long and unique and not easy to guess, it starts becoming difficult to maintain these passwords. There are various ways you can work around this. Number one is to use passphrases instead of just passwords. Instead of having random words, you can come up with a system such that, for example, for your email accounts, you come up with a phrase like barua zangu. Using such a phrase, when you see the site, you can more easily remember the password, but it's not easy for someone to guess what it is that you have put there. And for us here in Kenya, you can use Kiswahili and or your mother tongue as well, instead of just using a plain English password. This makes it even harder for someone to guess your password or for software to crack your password. There's actually a software that exists that attempts to guess or to crack people's passwords. Remember the organized gangs we talked about earlier on, or even the states that engage in hacking? A third solution, which I personally highly recommend, is to use a password manager to generate and to store your passwords for you. A password manager is software that remembers passwords for you, it fills in login screens for you, and it generates new passwords for you when you need a new password. It also does other things. It allows you to store other information, and it can allow you to securely share a password. Someone else can log into a site without seeing the actual password, and so on. A password manager generates strong passwords for you, which meet the criteria we talked about earlier. That they're not easy to guess, use special characters, are long, unique. So you don't have to worry about all of this anymore. The password manager does all that for you. Normally they are free, at least for the basic functionality of remembering passwords for you and generating passwords. I have used these two password managers and I recommend them: LastPass and BitWarden. Now of course the password manager has a password itself, a master password. Don't forget that master password. Also, don't forget the password to the email address associated with your account at the password manager, because that's what you'll use to recover your password in case you forget the master password, which you should not forget. So use a password manager. It will remove your password headaches for you. The third thing we should do is to use what is known as multi-factor authentication. What is that? Authentication means confirming that something is indeed what it claims to be. In this case, if you are trying to log into something, authentication is confirming that you are indeed the owner of that account. Okay? A factor is something that contributes to an overall result. So, in this case, it means something that contributes to confirming that you are indeed the owner of the account you are trying to log into. So this something can be something that you know, such as a password, something that you have, such as a phone or a phone number, and something that what they say you are, such as your biometrics, your a scan of your eye or your thumbprint or your fingerprint and so on. Multi means more than one. So multi-factor authentication uses more than one factor to confirm that you are indeed the correct person trying to log in. It does not rely on a password only or like a thumbprint only. It uses more than one, like a password and phone, to authenticate you. Multi-factor authentication is like when you log into a website, then the website sends a code to your phone, the phone that you had registered earlier, and then you put in that code into that website, so it confirms that you're indeed the person who knows that password and you have the phone to which that code was sent. So use multi-factor authentication where available. So using this means that even if someone finds out your password, they cannot log in unless they also have access to your phone. Which means, for example, if there's someone in a different country, then they can't do that. Okay? So this increases the security of whatever account you have that you're trying to log into.